Hello and welcome back to Tesla News. My name is Marian and I'm your host today. I'm glad to have you back here on my channel. With news from Germany, we also gonna look into the final push of Q3 for exporting from Shanghai to Europe and also the credit bubble. Are we looking into a credit bubble when it comes to the average credit for a car? Because this is increasing by so much, we have to talk about that. But first of all, based on the goal of Tesla to produce 20 million cars per year at some point in the future, if we take the pricing for all the raw materials needed to build batteries for these kind of volumes of electric cars, based on July pricing, this would be an investment of $100 billion per year. So just take that into consideration where this entire growth story of Tesla could go. Because we are looking at a revenue of 80 to 90 billion this year from Tesla, more like into the direction 90, maybe even 100 billion. So 100 billion in revenue, but by 20 million cars per year, they would invest 100 billion in raw materials. Of course, they don't have to buy them all by themselves because we have suppliers and everything. Nevertheless, just to understand the volume based on the need to build 20 million cars. We're also going to look into the revenue outlook as we are approaching towards the end of Q3. Currently, we are sitting at $35 billion of revenue for this year. This is already more than Tesla has been having in the entire 2020 year. It is, without a doubt, no question, going to be a record year when it comes to revenue. The question is, how high can Tesla actually go? I mean, we are at 35 billion. I do expect to have a very strong Q3, which is always stronger than any other quarters, and then Q4 being even more strong. So we could go to 90 billion, maybe even towards 100 billion, depending on how good everything is working out. But I do believe that Tesla, with the two new factories, could actually achieve that compared to last year when Tesla did a final year push, and that actually very successful without the two factories. Looking into deliveries, just want to support the case for the white outside, black outside, and black seat Model Y long range. Lots of delivery times, not for the UK right now because this version is not being produced yet here in Germany, but for all other European countries. That is the version which you can get as fast as possible. Many people are actually moving forward for that version. Again, it is not the versions that you're getting from Shanghai. In this case, just the version you get from Giga Berlin. That is actually the fastest version you can get, white outside and a 19 trim, so you have to not use the big wheels. Then we're going to look into the ships. We have Höchst St. Petersburg close to arriving in Seebrugge. Very important, the Clovis Courage is currently in the harbor in Shanghai. This is supposed to be, in my projection, the last ship moving to Europe. Anything after that makes not so much sense because we would not achieve to make deliveries by the end of the quarter. If Tesla is changing their strategy and they still deliver in the first week of October, we're going to see that. But I believe Clovis Courage will be the last ship moving to Europe in this quarter. After that, we're going to have a lot of deliveries for the named performance variants, for the long-range variants coming out of Giga Berlin. And this is the first time we actually have pretty good volume, even though we are still talking about a small volume, but comparable to Q2, the first time that if no exports are happening from Shanghai anymore in the last month of this quarter, we're gonna see some push happening here in Germany and in other European countries. I do expect a lot of cars being now exported from Giga Berlin to all kinds of countries around Europe. And then in September, it's going to be mainly focused, and I'm just saying mainly, This doesn't mean that nothing is going to other countries, but mainly focused on the German market. I do expect a lot of deliveries in September based on feedback of customers in Germany. So let's look into more stuff. We have as well the battery market, for example, but first of all, the main topic when it comes to credit. So based on Reuters and Experian, based on Thursday's monitoring here, the average vehicle loan is now up to $40,000. So that is a record high. It has never been like that. And I do believe the question we have to ask ourselves is, how is the pricing, so the higher pricing, affecting consumer behavior buying a car? And of course, the question to you guys, what is your limit? I mean, anybody is earning a different income out there, but do you have the feeling that you get when it comes to Tesla to a limit where you say you won't buy a Tesla anymore because it's too expensive? I have done the experience based on the price increase for the standard variant that lots of people said, well, that's my limit. I'm not going to buy a standard range for 50K. And this could be a risk, and it could as well be a way that people are paying too much and they are not going to be handling the credit line if they lose a job or anything else is happening. So I see that as a concern that we have to monitor. When it comes to the battery market, on the other hand, we are looking at a volume of 250 billion, which is the worth of the global market for electric vehicle batteries by 2030, based on Reuters. And we are looking into a demand of exceeding 3.5 terawatt hours. The point here is, when it comes to such projections until 8 years ahead of now, I do believe it's very hard because we have seen in recent years that such projections have always been wrong. We have been catching up much faster to those goals. So I do expect actually the volume to be 300 to 400, even maybe like $500 billion. I think it could be even twice as much, because the growth and the need for batteries is much faster. And so I think 250 billion in volume is a bit too low, but this is always the same thing. And what I find very important as well to discuss is the batteries recycling business, guys. We really have to talk about that. And Redwood Materials, it is a hidden secret company. For all those who know Redwood Materials, you have to keep an eye on that. It's a huge business. So recycling is a thing. And of course, as I said, the average pricing, the credit is going higher and higher. And who knows if that is going to have some kind of issue in the future. So thank you very much for being here today. I really appreciate your time. I do wish you a wonderful weekend. And we hopefully see each other back here on Monday with more updates to Tesla. Thank you very much.